Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Wellness Webinar Series. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and I'm going to start my video, and I want to invite Ms. Wendy Braun to start her video. I am so excited that she is a guest with us today. This is so awesome. Hey, Wendy.
We're doing it. Tech is working.
I think the tech is working. Is the tech working? I hope it is. I think we are. Okay, I'm seeing us in our group now. So we are good to go. All right, I'm just gonna move a couple things here because I think Wendy and I are both looking at 42 screens in one.
Right? You know, I'm gonna close out Facebook, even though I love all you guys. I don't want all my sounds to sound. I don't know how to turn off all my sounds.
All right.
Wait.
Maybe. I think I'm good. All right, Jackie says we're working.
We're working, okay.
There.
Turn on tabs. Okay.
You good?
Let's see. What's up, everybody?
Yes. All right, here we are. Everyone's saying hello. I'm excited that people are here. I'm Nitra. Hey, lady. Great. So here we are. We're doing the Zoom to the Facebook. We're both technologically excited right now.
Yeah, and I just want to say this is what's called learning as you go, which I highly recommend. Like, don't try to be perfect before you do anything, because we are learning as we go. And how much fun is this?
It's so fun. All right, everyone. So here we are on our first webinar, and I'm so excited for Wendy to talk with us today, to share her knowledge and her information, because it's so important, everything that she has to say. I am such a fan of you, Wendy. I just love what you do for actors, for the acting community, and I know that your outreach is even bigger than that. Which I want to hear about, because I know you're doing a lot right now, even for our society in general. But I just want to tell you guys a little bit about Wendy before we dive on in, just so you know. Wendy is obviously a very accomplished actress. She has over 75 TV and film credits, and she's on her third season of Netflix's Atypical, you guys. Yay. She has over 100 commercials and thousands of voiceovers under her belt. Amazing. And for years, she's been really a guiding light in this industry as the CEO and the founder of actorinspiration.com. If you don't know that, go to her website immediately and get on her list. And she's really been teaching transformational tools and powerful teachings that have helped thousands of actors overcome obstacles and create breakthrough success. She is known as a spiritual game changer for artists. That's what casting directors call this woman. And her students have gone on to become series regulars. They perform on Broadway. They've won awards on stage and screen. And the biggest thing is all while having a very joy-filled and abundant life. Because what I know about this woman is all about the balance. So I'm super excited that you are here with us. Oh,
well,
and she's going to be here tonight.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, Linda just said she's going to binge on Atypical tonight. So
go binge Atypical. It's such a heartwarming and also comedic and inclusive show, and I'm really grateful to be a part of it. I also just wanted to shout out Jody, because to put this together takes a lot of work, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm just so proud of you and happy for you that you put together a wellness series, because I feel like everyone needs it. We all need it right now, and quite frankly, anytime. I feel like, thriving through uncertainty is really an actor's job, pandemic or not. And so, and it really does all come back to wellness. And I think so often we're all looking for our careers to bring us the good feeling and the wellness, but we have to align with that first. And that's why I'm excited to talk today, because we're gonna do that.
We are. So I know when I reached out to you, you're like, yes, we're going to talk about easing anxiety and improving well-being. So let's just dive on in. What do we do, Wendy? I mean, literally, the emotions are running rampant. We're on a roller coaster ride. We feel like we should be doing every Instagram Live and Facebook Live under the sun.
Right.
So help us.
Here's what happens. First of all, I just want to remind everybody, whether it's during a global pandemic or just a downtime in your acting career, within every challenge arises a greater solution all the time. And so often we get angsty and we get anxiety about figuring it out. And that's what leads to all that sort of panic mode and should do mode. But I want to just start this whole thing by reminding us all that our solutions are not found in our angst and our anxiety, right? Whenever you're trying to figure something out from this mode, it's hard to find the solution. Our solutions that we're seeking, they are in our alignment. And so they're in a softening of that anxiety. And I'm going to give you a lot of tools today, a few simple tools that you can use immediately to soften the anxiety so you can find the solution. That's really my goal. So yes, how many actors right now are feeling overwhelmed? I think all of them for all kinds of different reasons. You know, I think that should do language. Look, there's a lot of amazing opportunities coming at people. And right now there's like probably a million opportunities, right? Coming from every direction. And I know how overwhelming it is. You know, you pick up your phone and you're like, oh, I should do that monologue challenge. Oh no, I should do the, you know, like you said, the Instagram, you're just scrolling through and it becomes like this digital list of should do's. You know, I should attend every Zoom call, or I should attend every online casting. And then I think the worst thing happens when you kind of, if you don't do it, then the next day you see that like your friend won the monologue championship and you're like, oh my God, right? Now you're freaking out. I should have done that thing because now she got a free one-on-one casting session with whoever. Or I think that the general should do for a lot of people, I don't know if you've been feeling this way, although you've been very productive, is I should be more productive right now. Right? We feel, okay. So I want to give you guys a one word to help you replace that should with a different word that will help ease your anxiety. So simply, well, first I'm gonna just say should, the word should. Anytime you look at an email or your phone and you're saying to yourself, I should, with that heavy feeling, you know, that feeling where you're like, even I should work out right now, or like I should get up at 7 a.m., 5 a.m. every morning, or whatever it is, right? Should, I just changed it from 8 to 5 to 7, whatever. Or you get up at 10 and you're like, I should have gotten up at 8, right? Have you done that? You're like, you're already shoulding on yourself and you haven't even gotten out of bed. So should, the word should, when it feels like that, it's not inspiration. The word should implies from your own self that you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Which you're not. Should, it invites in angst and anxiety and guilt and shame. And that's why it feels so heavy. You're like, I should do that thing. And it feels so heavy that you actually don't end up doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want y'all to do is just replace the word should for could. So then could, because could, I could do a monologue challenge. Oh, I could do that 21-day self-tape. I could do this. I could do that. I could is lighter. I could implies you have a choice. I could invites in ease and flow and curiosity. This way, I want everyone to look at all of this stuff that's coming at you, and instead of as like should do, like from some parental side of you that's like, you should do this, look at it all as beautiful invitations. They're all amazing invitations that you get to decide if you want to accept or decline. So it's kind of like, wow, I'm so popular. Look at all the invitations. I have 5 million invitations in my email inbox. Isn't that so lovely? And I get to tune in with what feels good to me today, which is the only thing you can do is like right now in this moment, what feels good? And then make your choice from there to accept or decline. So some people might feel like, yes, I want to do that monologue festival. And some people might be like, I want to take a nap and then garden. And I want actors to know that if you take a nap and then garden, if that's what's calling you, the next day you'll be called to something else. And you'll start following your internal knowing, which is going to lead you to the better career than trying to figure out what everyone else is doing and then shooting all over yourself that you're not. That's my long-winded answer for that.
I love it. I say similar things, Wendy, about the should. The should is so, it's so heavy. And it feels like it's, you know, your authority figure of your youth being, you should make your bed, you should do this, you should do that. Yes. And we do that to ourselves. And it's so hard on the psyche to experience that every day. So one thing I say a lot to my clients is, because we always say the other thing is, oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. They're doing it. I have to do it. Right. And it's like, no, frame it to, I get to. I get to do this thing. And if I want to, I will, you know, like, but how is the reframe of I get to feel, you know?
Yes. And sometimes even the reframe of I get to, it's like, I get to do all this stuff. And some days that may feel like awesome. And some days it might not. But I think as you teach as well, it's like, it's really just coming back to knowing that you don't have to look at what everyone else is doing and then decide what your path is. I think that's what's tripping actors up. And now there's even more opportunities. And so now they're like, if you don't know how to tune out the digital distraction, which is going to become an even more vital skill, then you can't tune inward to know what you need to do. And if you can tune inward, which hopefully just even these little tools are helping you do, then you can decide. And I think what happens is actors are so used to, and they're so taught to be busy doing more. And a lot of actors for years have spent years being busy doing more, and they come to different coaches to find out, like, what's the list of stuff I have to do to get ahead? And everyone like, well, what people come to me, what do I have to do? And I'm always like, you have to stop all the doing. Let's look at who you're being. Because if who you're being is freaking out while you're gathering the to-do lists, then all the action in the world coming from that place of fear and anxiety and self-doubt isn't going to result in success anyway. So I have people step back and let's just go ahead and garden, go ahead and do something that has nothing to do with acting that lights you up. Then you'll get an idea, like, maybe I'll work on accents next, or whatever it is. You will find the inspiration, you know? So I think what scares actors, and what's scary for a lot of people in this time, is most of us, it's way easier to teach and to do being busy doing more. That's what most people teach, because they don't know how to go inward. But so for the world, to tell the world to stop all the doing and go home and sort of sit with yourself, that is a lot harder to do than just being busy out in the world, you know? And I think that's a little bit of what is going on right now. It's just that global calling to go inward. And most people are like, I don't know how to do that. You know, it's like,
right. Well, it's scary, right?
It's a lot harder to sit alone in a room or with whoever you live with and just feel your feelings and feel what comes up, and then to just stay in busy mode where you don't have to feel anything. And I know, because as a recovering type A Aries, I know you're a type A Virgo. It's like I've spent, you know, my 20s and 30s being busy doing more. Most of my 20s. I calmed down a bit in my 30s, and now I'm still spazzy, but I've calmed down in my angst about having to do stuff to make stuff happen. It's coming from a much different place.
Totally. I like to say it took me a long time to figure out that there's value, that I'm valued and I have value in my being. I'm not just valued for what I can do.
Yes.
That took me many, many, many years to figure that out.
Yeah. And I get, like, especially when you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, look, we're always going to have goals. There's always going to be a place you want to get to. But if you can't sort of sit in where you are today and look around your life and your home and all that you've created that brought you to this moment, you have a really hard time getting to the next moment in a fun and joyful way, which is really why we're all doing this. This is the reason you became an actor, is because you thought it was fun, right?
Right. I know. We forget that with all the doing.
Yes.
But I love what you said about turning inward, and I mean, not to get political at all, but just say, I think that's why there's such this push to reopen and get out there, is because people don't know how to just be, and they don't know how to shift into that or ease into that.
Like, I get it on many levels. I know a lot of people have lost businesses and work, and people want to get back to work. And I understand the financial place that people are like, no, I really need to open my gym or whatever it is. I get that. But on the, I just need to get outside thing, you know, we can take walks, we can be outside in nature, but it's the stillness, that if you can find stillness, if you can look at the circumstances that are going on now, which a lot of you may not like, and you can find joy in your own home amidst circumstances you don't like, then when you go back to your acting career and you don't get the job, or you don't get the callback, or you have all kinds of other circumstances that you don't like, which is what an acting career is over time, is constantly having circumstances you may not like and having to get up again, find your joy, find your light, go in the next audition and be amazing. This is really, to me, an opportunity to just practice staying in alignment when there are circumstances you don't like.
Yeah.
It's a global opportunity for people to do that. And I'm just glad we're talking about it, because hopefully if you have some little mindset tweaks to help you go, oh, you know what? I'm going to stop shitting on myself today. I'm going to look at things as an invitation. I'm going to do what lights me up today. How's that going to feel? Then when you have a slow week in your career, you can apply the same thing, you know, and you can find inspiration even during the downtimes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. I love all of that. I feel like I keep hijacking you from what you want to talk about because I get so excited and want to have a dialogue with you.
I love this stuff. I mean, no, not at all. I feel like this is exactly this is exactly what we should be talking about, because I think it's what matters. And I'm trying to relate it to show people how the skills you can learn now, the internal wellness skills are so valuable when you go back to your time as an actor, when you go on set and everyone's scared, that you can show up and be the light and the joy and come from a place of not fear. You know, when hair and makeup has a mask on and they're retouching you and everyone's freaking out, right? All that. So these are life skills, you know, really.
Oh, totally. I love that. And I want to go back to something you talked about. You mentioned like the uncertainty that we're in, and I know you just did a blog about this as well. That I was watching your video. And look, I mean, our careers as actors are uncertain on a daily basis, right? I mean,
absolutely.
That's the life we've chosen, and now it seems like let's times that by 100 right now for just everything. So how do we deal with that uncertainty on a daily basis now that it feels like it's infiltrating everything?
Yeah, you know, I think what is coming up for people that they don't teach in school, which is odd because we deal with this every day, but it really comes back to thrive through uncertainty. I think you have to step back and actually, this is so basic, but no one really teaches us how. You have to actually just feel all your feelings. And I think, Jody, you wrote something recently so beautiful about it. Like, you can't put a happy face sticker over what's coming up for you right now. And so I have a really simple way that I help actors, myself, my kids, sort of deal with whatever comes up. Is the first thing, you have to just become a witness to how you're feeling. So if you woke up today feeling really anxious and feeling frustrated, whether you already did like the ugly cry in the corner or not, it's all okay, right? It's just, and there's so many parallels as an actor, because when you push, fear and anxiety away before you go into an audition room, you're like, okay, I'm gonna breathe it out, or whatever you try to do to get rid of it. And then you try to show up and you're like, not breathe. Everyone can feel it. Everyone knows it, right? So it works in the audition room and in a global pandemic where you got to allow that in. I tell actors, bring that fear with you into the audition room. Fear is just excitement without the breath. So you can breathe into that fear. You can take your fear with you. So in a global pandemic, you can wake up, you can feel anxiety, and instead of trying to get rid of it, you can step back, become a witness. And then to me, I try to remind myself, I like to use a lot of acronyms because it helps me remember stuff like as if I was in kindergarten. But so my acronym, it's all about answering the call. I feel like this is a global calling, as we talked about, to tune inwards. It's a global calling to treat yourself. My acronym for the word call, to treat yourself with compassion. I can't do sign language, but it'd be C-A-L-L. C-A-L-L if you spelled the word down and you wrote out the words for the word call. C, compassion. A, acceptance. L, love. L, more love. So it's about, I'm going to become a witness to how I'm feeling, and I'm going to answer the call. I'm going to treat that part of me that feels so anxious and scared and uncertain, and I'm going to send that part of me more compassion and more acceptance and more love and more love. A quick example, my son, after maybe a long weekend where we had outdoor movie nights, and I have two kids, they're 8.5 and 11, two boys, two awesomely exuberant boys. And I'm homeschooling and we're figuring stuff out, learning as we go. And he was coming back on a Monday morning after a great weekend, just at home, obviously, not wanting to like sit and do his work, you know, and he was just on the floor kind of having a meltdown about like, oh my God, it felt like a should do to him and he didn't want to do his work, right? And I think this will relate to people because I feel like as adults, a lot of us are having meltdowns. Maybe we're just not getting on the floor and just wrapping around, which I kind of, you know what, maybe we all should just start the day just on the floor like that. And then, you know, because that is allowing whatever's coming up. So I just want to give an example of how do you handle it when either your kid is having a meltdown or you are having a meltdown. So instead of, without the awareness of these tools, and I have before said, hey buddy, get back in your chair. We got to do this. This is the work. Let's figure it out, right? I got down, I sat on the floor with him and I just sat with him I was just compassionate with where he was at. Buddy, I know this is hard and I get it and I understand and it's okay to feel however you're feeling. If you take nothing away from what we're talking about today and you want more wellness, I think just write that out. It's okay for me to feel whatever it is I'm feeling. And I'm going to sit with myself on the floor, metaphorically, while I have a metaphoric tantrum or a real one, and flow compassion and acceptance and love and more love. So I sat with him and I let him be where he was at, because I just sit with, you know, accepted it. And I just understood it. And I flowed love to him in his pain. I didn't try to get him out of it, you know, and I just sat with him however long it took. And you know what, Jody, it took, maybe it was like 4 minutes of just sitting in the pain. I'm like, buddy, why don't you do you want to go outside and like scream and, you know, do you need to punch a pillow now every day? I'm like, go punch a pillow, and he'll punch it. Like, I'm trying to let him know it's okay to feel feelings that, you know, most grownups can't handle, right? We're like, I can't feel that way, or I can't express that. To teach a young boy, you can cry, you can be sad, you can be angry, you can have all the feelings. You're human. And so I feel like it's flowing that compassion. And then so it's become a witness to how you're feeling. Answer the call. It's all a calling. Anything you're feeling right now, I have goosebumps saying this because someone's really going to take this and hopefully change how they're treating themselves, which I think is what wellness is all about, is to answer the call, find compassion and acceptance and love, and then more love with yourself. That's what, if you can do that now and you can return to your career and treat yourself that way, you will change your career. You will change what comes to you. You will change how you operate. And then the final sort of step in that, so witness how I'm feeling, answer the call. And then as I asked my son, and you can ask yourself, I just said, what do you need right now? What do you need right now? And most 8-year-olds, like they might be like, I don't know. Or they might be like, I just need a snack. Or, you know, a lot of adults don't know what they need right now, but you can't find out what you need until you get still with the part of you that's screaming. You know, so yeah, what do you need right now? You know, and then allowing that. And sometimes it's like, I just need a break. And so now I have an 8-year-old who knows how to feel feelings, how to be with himself in those feelings, and to self-regulate when he needs a break. So throughout his day, he's like, Mom, I'm taking a break. And he knows. And like, I feel like most of us, we just keep being busy doing more, and we don't know when we need a break. So to really relearn those are the tools of wellness right there. Those are 3 powerful tools. I think that'll just help you to acknowledge it. Yeah.
Lady, that is awesome. I like have goosebumps over here. I'm like freaking out about your 8-year-old son. Like, I think all of us on this call right now want you to be our mom. Literally.
You know what? Look, I am, and you know what? Thank you. I'm learning as I go. No one handed me a manual and I had a baby. I was like, well, now what do? I put diapers on backwards for the first 2 weeks. I told my girlfriend, I'm like, these ones that fasten in the back are just, I don't know. I think we have them on wrong. So I think it's, you know, you learn as you go. But I also think when I had 2 boys, I thought my job is to affect the girls of the world, or the boys of the world, depending on which way they go, by raising 2, you know, heart-centered, upstanding young men. And so to tell, I know a lot of us didn't grow up as women or men, as boys and girls, it was okay to cry and it was okay to have emotion, because most people who were raising us couldn't handle their own emotions. And if I can't handle my own emotions, I'm definitely not going to be wanting yours in my face, because you're going to be a mirror to me. Yeah. So if I can get comfortable with my own anger and rage and frustration and sadness and jealousy and all that, then I can handle when you have it or anyone else in your house, or then I'm just more compassionate. And really, I hope that this whole thing is inviting the world to become that compassion, acceptance, and loving person that we all are really at our core.
Totally. Oh, I love
that. But I'm glad you have goosebumps.
A lot of people are like, this is amazing. I have a lot of moms watching this now too. A lot of my clients have kids. So what you all are doing right now, in addition to everything else, is like.
Right. And you guys, look, I get it. It's like, you want to be an actor, but then you're also like, and now I have 2 homeschooling children. Like, it's a lot. And so it's okay to not be as productive. And, that's why I feel like just tuning in, sometimes me just showering during the day is like, that's my main time. I'm like, a shower. I did work out this morning. I'm very proud to say I was happy about that. But I was shooting on myself about working out a couple weeks ago, and I allowed myself to not work out for a few days. And then the next day I felt more inspired to work out. And then I did. And so it's I use my own tools all the time. So I'm glad it's helping them.
Well, I think it's just so important that I love the word that you use, the word witness. I always use the word awareness, but the word witness is so lovely because it kind of also just takes, like, you get to like take that almost like 30,000 view of your life, 30,000 foot view of your life, and bear witness to what's actually happening. And I just launched a webinar a few weeks ago. It was called how to be ready now, 5 steps to be ready. But my step number 1 was exactly what you're saying. It was like, just acknowledge the disappointments and the shame that you're feeling right now, because you can't do anything else until you do that.
Yes.
Because I want to put on a brave face and come out from my community and be like, we're going to make it through, guys. But at the same time, there's a lot of vulnerability happening, and we get to be honest with our emotions and our feelings. And we're all scared and worried and panicky and mad that we have to work out or whatever.
Yes. I have goosebumps at you saying this. And this is, if there's a lot of parents on here, I wanted to share this about how much of our inner knowing, and exactly to what you're teaching, Jody, which I love that you are teaching it, because it is really at the core of whether you're an actor or like whatever you do in the world. On Mother's Day, I went to Home Depot. It was literally like my first time out of the house, outside of my neighborhood. My amazing husband is the one grocery shopping and doing all the utility stuff, go into the hardware store, whatever we needed. And so for literally 2 months, I had not been out to a store. And I realized that's my highest self calling telling me I'm doing good. I realized, that's my actually, okay, sorry, I should have turned off all devices. But anyway, so I went to my husband's like, on Mother's Day, what do you want to do? I'm like, I just want to go to Home Depot and get some stuff to garden, because we have a container, right? So I drove to Home Depot. I had my mat. I was really scared. I was just like, oh my God, okay, I can do this. And I drove to Home Depot. I had my gloves and my mask and my hands, all the stuff. And I pulled into Home Depot near my house, the morning of Mother's Day. I realized it was a Sunday at 10 a.m., not the time to go to Home Depot, And there was just this long line of people with masks on. And for those of you who've been out of the house, you're like, yeah, that's how it is. But for me, I hadn't physically seen it other than on Twitter. And I just started crying at the sight of it. I was just I just cried at the sight of the world and the state and what it meant for me. Because I was like, well, the garden section's over there. Can I just, and it was like, you cannot come in this way. You have to go in the regular way. And I get it, because you're trying to, and I just couldn't do it. I literally drove home. I told my kids, I'm like, you guys, I couldn't do it. I didn't feel aligned. I was like, I don't want to wait in the line right now. I'm scared. It just doesn't feel fun. This doesn't feel fun. So I came home. I allowed myself to cry over the line at Home Depot for humanity, for what our world is right now. I really just pulled in, and I was like, how does this feel? I was like, this does not feel good, right? So if you're crying, trying to set up your self-tape and it just doesn't feel good and you just don't want to freaking do it, I advise you to that day not do it. So the next week, I reorganized my brain and I was like, I'm going to go to Home Depot today. I know what to expect. I'm okay. I'm not going to go on Sunday at 10. I'm going on Friday at 8 a.m. or whatever it was. And I got in line and I smiled at people through my mask. Oh, sir, can you hold my spot so I can get a cart? Or well, not hold my spot, but okay, great. I got my thing and I got all my plants. And I was like, I need 2 carts because I ain't coming back here another time. And I got whatever it was. And I came home and I've gardened for a few days. And so it's just an example of like, yeah, I bawled my eyes out at the line at Home Depot. And then I decided this isn't the time to do what I thought I was going to do on Mother's Day. And that is true. I was like, God, you really listened to if it felt good or not. And it didn't feel good. And I want people to do more of that.
Yeah. Instead of just barreling through. No, I said I was going to do it. I got to do it, which is a hard, fine line. I feel like even with my clients and actors and even in my own life of like, well, I'm committing to doing this thing. I've declared I'm doing it. I want to hold myself accountable to doing it. But then if there's that resistance emotionally, it's like, okay, what's my truth right now? Because I get to listen to my truth in this moment, even though I set up and had the best laid intentions to go to Home Depot on Mother's Day. It's really about listening to that truth.
Yeah, and I guess I feel like because it's such a vulnerable time, I feel like here's everyone's permission slip.
Yes.
To pivot what you said you were going to do to what feels best in the moment. And I feel like who I am going to Home Depot. Yeah, you could plow through. I could, and it depends on the person. Some person might be like, you know what, I'm going to feel better when I get home with my plants, so I'm doing this.
Sure.
That just wasn't where I was at that day.
Mm-hmm.
You could cry in the parking lot at Home Depot and still get in the line.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
So it really is, but it's taking the moment, you know. It's funny. I wasn't gonna give that example, but with all the moms and so you all know we're all bawling our eyes out somewhere. I think it's really important.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. I think that word you just said, like, that word pivot, like, really started to like piss me off when I first heard it. I'm like, why do we need to pivot? But I love it in this context because it's really, it is bearing witness to how you're feeling or having that awareness to it and going, okay, but that's not what I need right now to make me feel good in this moment. It would be a should and then spiral down. And I don't want to spiral down.
Yeah. And you know, Jody, look, I love creating things. I love being productive. I have a list. I've taught my son, like, we start out the morning, even though he's got a Google Doc, I'm like, let's just put it all on a list and I'm gonna make boxes. And he loves checking the box. I was like, yes, I'm all for like checking the box and getting stuff done. It feels so good to put something out in the world, have people love it. I'm all for that. But I've learned over time that when I'm feeling good creating something, the effects, first of all, it gets created so much quicker and more easily, and it comes from such a place of joy instead of that heavy place. And so I've really learned to pivot to do that in the midst of like, I have to get it done, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
Hard to do when you're a type A doer. I get it.
Right. Yeah, I love that. It's so true. Okay, so Linda asked, and I want to bring this up since we're talking about kids right now. Linda says, I've also experienced sadness and grief. I think the kids are too. Could you address this?
Yes. Look, and so beautiful of you to say, Linda, because if you can show your kids that it's okay to be sad right now, you know, they said like kids might have more nightmares right now, or maybe you might. And my kids are definitely having like scary spider nightmares or whatever it is, you know. And I think being present and teaching them however you're feeling throughout the day is okay. One thing that might help to invite this, which it sounds like you're already doing, but for anyone who's not, into your home, to invite the conversation is every night when we sit down for dinner, which we do sit down together every night, we let's talk about the high and low of how we felt today. Because you know what? You can feel amazing in the morning and you can feel crappy by 3. And so teaching our kids like the high and low. So maybe the grief and sadness, if mommy's like, you know, I felt really good today after I did my workout or after I helped you with your homeschool. But then the afternoon I looked on Twitter and you don't have to maybe explain all the news because I don't even show them the news. I felt really sad. And how about you? How did you feel? What's your high and your low? And so we talk the kids, what's your high and low about homeschooling? What's your high and low? Showing them that it's not like, what do you feel awesome about? I mean, sure, I got my gratitude jar and I'm all for like finding the joy, but it's the real conversation is the human conversation. Hello, the actor conversation. You want to go back and be an actor. Every show isn't just about how great you felt, right? You got to be able to feel all the emotions. So talk about the emotions. I think allowing them that is great. I also do show my kids though, even this morning, and my son, I was sitting outside with my coffee and I was hugging him, and I've this beautiful backyard, which I'm blessed to have with beautiful foliage. And I just said, buddy, look at nature. Nature is always thriving. And here we are in the middle of this. And I know there's a lot of sadness. You can say this, I know there's a lot of sadness and grief in the world. And I feel sad and I'm grieving for people and people have lost people. But what I do know on our walks today and outside my window and everywhere I look, and I have goosebumps saying this because I know you guys are getting this, is nature is thriving and nature is here to teach us that there will always be new growth, that we can look to nature on how to be. We don't all have to compare. We can lean to the light.
Yeah.
We can thrive through, even though we don't know what's happening, even when the thunderstorm comes, right? And so I think it's twofold. It's like absolutely allowing you to be wherever you're at and talk about it and know that it's okay. But then two, as I do, is pointing that, and I said it this morning, and I'm sure my kid's like, I know, Mom, but amidst the darkness, I will always find the light. And buddy, amidst the darkness in your life, whatever darkness is in your life, whether it's a global pandemic or the first girl who breaks your heart, you can find the light, right? It's like, those are the lessons that that's what we're all in a sense trying to do right now, is how do we find the light amidst the darkness, you know?
Totally. And it's again, it just starts with that, like you said, that truth and the honoring of the highs and the lows, because that's just life, you know. And Anitra just said on here, she said, I'm learning to not judge my tears. And I think that statement alone gave me goosebumps, Anitra. I just think that is so true, because there's this judging quality I feel we have. Oh, right. Oh my God, I should feel better right now. I should get up and do this thing, right? Everyone else is handling it way better than I am. But I feel sad. And then we judge ourselves for feeling that way. And that's that whole spiral down thing that is so much harder to get out of.
Well, and I love that she says that. And I love that you caught that and mentioning it, because what's happening now, and this is part of the culprit, is that, and you know, I made up another acronym the other day that helped my students, that, you know, I'll share with you guys if you don't have kids online, because it's a bit of a swear word, but I'm such a Midwesterner that I even said that. So I want you all to know, so why you're feeling the judgment, usually like we can handle it maybe on our own, but then you pick up this and everyone looks so amazing on Instagram, right? You know?
Right.
So Instagram, if you can just remember before you pick up your phone, this is fake and orchestrated. Okay, here we go. Let's go look at Instagram. It's fake and orchestrated, right? And then I was like, F and O. It was just a reminder, F and O, fake and orchestrated. To me, the other F and O is just fuck up. So you can pick up Instagram, and you can be like, it's fake and orchestrated, and you can buffer your how you're gonna make it all mean how you're doing by just saying, well, this is fake and orchestrated, so fuck off. And maybe you won't even pick up the phone when you're feeling like that, to sort of look at, you know, how you're not doing in the world, you know? So that's my little, like, that was a little side gift for you all. Real wellness starts with just declaring that it's fake and orchestrated, and you're not gonna make it mean that you're somehow like not achieving because
right. Right. Oh my God, I love that. I posted it in the comments. Everyone's laughing at that. Oh my God. Okay, so Anitra's continuing here. She just said, thank you for the acknowledgement. I've been judging the tears. I had a meltdown last night, and instead of stuffing the pain, I just cried. And I did my dance therapy so I could sleep peacefully. Oh, I love that.
Anitra, you're like speaking my language. Oh my God. Okay. First of all, I just want to say I spent most of my 20s like crying and dancing alone in my apartment. So I'm all for like the dance cry therapy. In fact, I remember after a horrific breakup that I thought was the guy, because I had a timeline of how it's all supposed to go.
Sure.
And I was totally in love at the time, and then that didn't work out. And I was like, but wait, no, but I had it all written out, and it was gonna go like this, and you just screwed it up. Well, thank God he did, because it wasn't my current husband. But I remember that night, like crying in my apartment in Toluca Lake. And the next day I went to a voiceover, like a weekend voiceover workshop. And I remember one of my dearest friends now, I met him at the workshop, and he was like, so what did you do last night? Like just chatting. I just want to give this as a gift to people as well, because after that breakup, I decided I was going to stop pretending I was okay when I wasn't, or I was going to stop pretending I was better or different than I was feeling. And so normally I would have been like, oh, I watched, Ally McBeal or whatever was on at the time. I'm so old right now saying that. But anyway, I watched Dawson's Creek. No, instead I said, I danced alone in my apartment while bawling my eyes out. What do you do? Like, that's what I said. So it reminds me of that. So it's really truthful. And the guy has since become like one of my dearest friends. And we always joke about how, so I'm all for dancing alone in your apartment, crying your eyes out. I think it's a beautiful thing. And it will help. It helped lead me to my current husband, my amazing relationship, having a family and everything. I let go of the timeline and am now living a life from that dark moment, that dark place, that being okay with bawling my eyes out, being okay telling someone else I was bawling my eyes out, being okay telling you guys I went to Home Depot and bawled my eyes out. Like, right? This is wellness. What we're talking, this is wellness, is exactly, Anitra, what you're saying. And I see your purple hearts, which I love it. That is exactly it, and I love it. Oh my God. Anyway, I can now finally see comments and stuff.
Oh,
Yay.
good. Okay. Okay, I want to talk about something you just talked about the timeline, right? Because I know, for me as a career coach, it's like I help people set goals, and there's time, like this is what I want to do in this time, and these are my goals for the month, and it's like, man, our career timelines are like, they're gone. You know what I mean? Like I still, underneath my self-tape shade is my monthly goals, and they're still up there from like February, March, and April, you guys. Like I haven't even erased them because I don't even have the bandwidth to like rethink it yet. You know what I mean? And I'm acknowledging that to all of you right now as your career coach, that I don't have the bandwidth to do that right now.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yes. And Jody, maybe, or the knowledge of, well, once I find out when things, like it also is depending on so many other factors. Yeah. So for you, it's so awesome for you to say that, because it's like, when I feel truly aligned with resetting that, I'll know it, and I'll be inspired to be like, okay, here's what, and it might be tomorrow or it might be in June, right? Like who knows, Right. And so, it's interesting to see coaches say like, hey, I don't have it all written out and figured out right now, and I feel like that's true leadership in a way, to go, you know what, for me, it's more about, well, if you tune into helping yourself daily, you'll find the most enlightened version of that goal list than you would being like, I have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of, it's such an elusive term, letting go, but there's just a lot of letting go of the plans and the expectations at the moment,
I don't know if anyone saw it. You guys can like Google it later or put it in the chat, but this was one of my favorite things. Just the other day I stumbled upon, I think someone put it in one of my Facebook groups. It was Snoop Dogg sitting in his car listening to Let It Go, and you guys should all, and he was like, this is real shit, y'all. He's like, this shit is real. And it was so, it's just so perfect, because he like makes facial expressions during the music. He's like, yeah, it's hilarious. And it's so, Snoop Dogg is showing that first of all, that he even listens to Let It Go. I love it. I hope it
that's awesome.
Not do a duet together one day, but and that he needed to get in his car and listen to Let It Go to help him let go. It was, I don't know, I just thought that was really cool.
That's awesome. All right, we've been chit-chatting, but Linda wants to know the 6-word mantra that was in your marketing. So let's get back to our bullet points.
Yes. She's like, I came on for that, and I know we're chatting. I do feel like how this has ebbed and flowed. I hope it's helping people, and I feel like what's come up has been the thing that's been needed to be said. So I'm all for that. You know, we were talking about it, but I'll give you the actual mantra. But it really is about having the faith that no matter how dark things may get for you, that you are going to lean to the light. And so I use this mantra. I used it this morning. I take 3 breaths every morning. Well, more than that to be here now, but consciously deep breathing before I get out of bed. I don't check my phone from my bed. I wake up and I say this mantra every morning. I say it throughout my day, and it's very simple. It's 6 words. In this moment, I choose peace. In this moment, I choose peace. In this moment, I choose peace, because these 6 words are really, they're a reminder for you to pause, to breathe. Breathing is pausing. Consciously breathing is pausing. And to affirm that in this moment, it reminds you to get mindful and present, because this moment is the only one all of us have, right? So we can't worry about yesterday. We don't have to think about tomorrow. It's just in this moment. This is the moment I have right now, laying in my bed, in my home. I choose peace. The choose, it's very deliberate wording. I choose. I have a choice. I can get up and scream and yell at everyone. I can get up and panic. I can choose peace. And when I state that to myself, when I affirm it for myself, in this moment, I choose peace. Then my choices from there, if I'm choosing peace, then I may maybe not choose to scroll through Twitter and the news feed right when I get out of bed. Yeah. I might choose to eat something different than I would if I'm freaking out, right? So what it helps people do in this moment, I choose peace. It sets your day up to remind you that you are in control of 3 things: where you choose to focus, how it makes you feel, and then what you choose to do. And most people are trying to do the doing to feel differently. Right. But if you can just start with the thought, and where you choose to focus is different, then how it makes you feel is different, than what you choose to do. It's a ripple effect. And so, and the other thing I love about this mantra is, in this moment, I choose peace. It's also when you're walking into a room where kids are fighting, or maybe your mom calls and she's super negative and like, why aren't you worried more? Or whatever, whoever is coming at you with a different perspective, it allows you to not have to micromanage how anyone else is reacting to this, right? So you need to calm down because I was choosing peace and you're getting me out of my peace, right? The true enlightenment, and believe me, I'm still trying to master this, and it's hard at times. It depends on the day and the events. But if you can like step back, again, in this moment, I choose peace before I walk into whatever it is, then you can allow someone to be in an emotional state that is way off the deep end where you are, and you can meet them with compassion, acceptance, love, and more love. All of that takes practice. It takes mindfulness. It takes giving a crap. You know, most people would rather scream and do more than get still, quiet their mind, set an intention, not react. You know, it takes a lot more awareness to operate in that way. And I'm still working on it, but that's the mantra. In this moment, I choose peace. You can say it throughout the day. You can put a reminder on your phone. You have a reminder on your phone. Maybe you are checking the digital distractions less, which are making me feel bad and all. So that is my mantra for the gal who wanted the mantra, who's like, I came in for the mantra.
We need the mantra. And okay, great. You guys were helping each other in the chat. Someone wanted you to repeat something, but we got it. But what I love what you said there at the end is like, I'm still working on it. And that's the beauty, right? We're all working on it. There's no perfection. You know, like when I deal with clients about like the excuses that come up for them and their limiting beliefs, it's like those things don't just go away. We just learn to manage them, right? We get to recognize and manage them, and they will diminish, but it's not about, oh God, I have to stop this thing, right? It's that's ingrained in you. And these are all habits that you're forming, and we get to be intentional with them on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I think what's hard, you know, sometimes people, I know to me, mindfulness and meditation go hand in hand. And I don't think we're ever done with this work. It's kind of like showering. And I know people are doing that a little less these days, but you do have to, it's a daily practice. I feel like where I choose to focus, how it makes me feel, and what I choose to do, it is up to me, but it is a mindfulness practice. To me, mindfulness and meditation are the invitation to change everything in your world, because if you don't start with that inner game, you're operating from usually a place of fear and doubt, and like you said, limiting belief, you know. What's funny, a lot of people have said to me lately, like, you know, people are like, you should meditate. And for those of you who don't meditate, a lot of people have told me this, and I get it. They're like, you know, meditation right now just feels like worrying with my eyes closed. You're like, okay, now I'm just worried with all the stuff I was worried about before. They told me to meditate. Okay, I'm going to sit alone in a room quietly with my thoughts. Oh, wow, I have a lot of thoughts, and most of them feel like crap, right? So I created a guided meditation to help with that. It also has the mantra of, in this moment, I choose peace. And it's for easing anxiety and improving well-being. And that way you can press play. I sort of created it for all the people who are like, meditation feels like worrying with my eyes closed. So this is a guided meditation. And this way you can press play on my audio. You can listen to it. I've had like not only actors, but homeschooling nurses, homeschooling parents, and frontline nurses, and homeschooling nurses, I guess, listen to it, and kids listen to it and say that they felt better in 15 minutes than they had in weeks. And so sometimes it's just getting up in the morning, saying the mantra, maybe pressing play on a meditation, and just operating from a different place from your day. So you can go to actorinspiration.com/ease. I know Jody will have that for you. And you can grab the meditation. You guys can listen to it. That way you have, if you're like, I don't know how to do this, you don't have to know how to do it. It all came from a place of me feeling like I'm not very good at meditation, but I can create guided meditations that will lead my mind back to the truth of who I am. And so that's all my gift to you too. Oh my God, I see Katie Patterson is here. It is easy to do. It is easy not to do. Maybe she's talking about meditation. I'm not sure, but
I think
yes.
so. Yeah.
actorinspiration.com/ease. You guys can all.
And I'm going to post that in this post app. I'm going to post it now. And all of you guys just know that you're going to be getting a landing page with a video, with this video, as well as all the other guests in the series, with their link to all the free gifts that they're giving you. I really invite you to download this from Wendy. You know, everything this woman has to offer is amazing. So, and then she's giving you a lovely free gift. So,
you know, and I wrote it right when the pandemic started, and I go to my booth, I go to my computer, and I close I'm a good typer. And so I close my eyes and type, and these audios, they pour out of me like, and then I record them. And my friends who know me, as I keep calling myself spazzy. I got to find a new word. Joyful and exuberant.
Yeah.
My joyful and exuberant self, when my own friends listen to my audios, they're like, that's not you. Who is that? You know, because my alter ego is very calm, cool, collected. I have so when you listen to audios, it won't be me being like all joyful and exuberant. I like that I'm going to call myself that now, because I've been saying I'm spazzy lately. I'm like,
you're not spazzy. No. You're vivacious. You're vivacious and excited. You're vivacious and excited.
I love it.
I love that mantra. And I think it's so important to approach the day with a mantra. Have something you can fall back on. I have an accountability partner, and we chat every day. I think she's on this video right now as well. She's going to be a guest in the series later on, Laura.
Oh, awesome.
And every day before we hang up from our call, we say, what are our ways of being that day? And we always declare how we're going to be. And for me lately, it's been joyful and efficient. Like my day's going to be about joy, and it's going to be efficient. And if I don't feel like doing this and I don't get to it, so what? I'm going to be efficient with my time and where my energy level and my bandwidth lies today. So,
I love that. I have goosebumps at that. Joyful and efficient is like how I like to operate this entire house. You know, my husband will remind me too, because I'll definitely, I'm a doer, and I'm like, what's the project? Why is everyone sitting around? You know, but he'll remind me to like that efficient for me, and maybe you can sometimes be just sitting in the backyard with my coffee, noticing nature without teaching my son something about nature, just looking at nature.
Right?
Yeah.
Just the sake of it. I just have to read this because it just tickled me. Katie Bennett just said, "I vote for a Jody Wendy spin-off show to give us daily motivation. This was honestly so amazing. I'm appreciative of this talk and downloading it immediately."
Oh, awesome. Well, hey, girl, you know.
We're going to be in quarantine for a while.
Oh my God. Look at that. That's so nice.
That's
I love
so
it.
sweet. Okay, we had one other question earlier that I just wanted to come back to, and then Wendy, I'll let you wrap up with some final thoughts.
Yeah.
But Katie Patterson had also asked earlier, are there any other words that we can use in place of others? So if we're thinking about conscious languaging, you know, we're replacing the should with could, or by have to with get to. Are there any other phrases or words that you use to sort of lighten? This was from earlier. I just had written it down.
No, it's funny. I just noticed Linda saying, I'm in renewal, reflection, and rest right now. And I feel like those are great words. I mean, I do like a lot of the words right now. Like I'm recalibrating my energy. I reignite my light. I reevaluate how I've been treating myself. I recognize this thought is not serving me, you know, a lot of that. Maybe this is time for removing what's not working for you. It's funny, I made a whole list of like my well-being to-do list. That was all these kinds of wording.
Yeah.
That was less about getting crap done and more about realigning my mind. You guys can, I think when you answer the call for yourself, and you come from a place of compassion, acceptance, and love, your inner self will know the exact word. Like what works for me in that moment might be a totally different word. But I also will say, use the signs around you. Like so often, you know, if I'm scrolling on Instagram, I'll see something that is like exactly what I needed at the moment. And I will sort of remember that, or I'll even screenshot it. So look for signs of like whatever lights you up, whatever pauses you. You know, I can't say that there's like specific words to use that. Yeah, I mean, I can, but I wouldn't, because I don't want you to need me to change your thoughts. I want you to tune into, I have goosebumps saying that, because that's what I want for everyone. It's like your highest self knows exactly the words. And so I want you to literally lean to what your highest self knows for you, instead of leaning to all the garbage that your inner critic is telling you. It might be as simple. I'm literally leaning because I feel like that's how simple it is to hear, and how hard people are like, why can't, I'm so bummed. It's like, wait, what? You have to get still and quiet to hear the highest self. Or you have to get to a meditative state, whether it's listening to an audio or, quite frankly, gardening, you know, or whatever it is for you, whatever just stops baking. My husband's like really into the sourdough starter, and he's all, you know, I'm like, I can get it. Awesome. Him and my older son, it's like a science experiment. The answers come in the stillness. The answers come in the joy. So that would be my answer for that. You know, it's funny. I created, it's like, if you go, I don't want to give you all my, I mean, I can, I don't mean to overly like give you all my things, but actorinspiration.com/wellbeing is my little wellbeing list. The thing I was talking about, I almost wasn't going to mention it because I was like, I didn't even tell Jody I was going to mention it, but
no, mention it.
Wants the words, go get that. It's, you know, I kept creating things for myself and others. So I was like, you know, it's usually just like one thing, but that's my well-being to-do list. That's like, I reignite my light. I redirect my focus to projects and people and activities that fuel my soul. If that's all you do right now, redirect your focus to what lights you up. You might win the monologue championship because you're so in alignment to doing it.
Yeah.
Right? You're not doing it from that other place. So it's so funny that I'm like, oh, well, okay. I literally told myself, I'm like, don't mention it. And then I'm like, well, why it? But someone might love it. So there you go.
I put it in the chat. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, this is just such this is such an important topic, again, to just constantly be reminding ourselves of, be intentional about, because especially in this time that we're in, I feel like our emotions are just here. They're just raw. You know, we're being triggered left and right. I mean, I don't know about any of you guys on there, but like a few weeks ago, my husband and I were like fighting, and then we're like, what's happening? Hold on. And we've had some of the most vulnerable, honest, heartfelt conversations of our relationship, because this is the time to do that. But you got to move through the uncomfortableness to lean into it, like you're saying. So I just love everything that you share, Wendy. This is so great.
I want to let you know, I don't know if you guys saw like Oprah talking to The Rock, but The Rock was saying that him and his partner were having the same thing that you were just saying about you and your husband. So, and I was like, thank you, The Rock, for saying that, because now we know when you're The Rock, you can still have an argument with your spouse. And when anyone on this call is the superstar that they're going to be, there's still stuff that is going to happen, you know? Yeah. I'll end with one last tip that I think will help your husband and anyone on the call. I know you want to keep it on an hour, so I'll make it quick. But one last tip, because I feel like this will be helpful with all these raw and ragged emotions. So what last mindfulness tip, if I can share it, can I share it? Okay.
Yes, please.
Is the 3-breath hug. Sounds simple. It actually is really simple. That's what I love about it. So you and your spouse later today, or you and your kid, or you and your cat, or you and yourself, depending on who you live with, you ask the person, I'd love to do a 3-breath hug. Them, it's like, what's that? You just hug them and you breathe 3 times. And it sounds simple, but it's been a game changer for everyone in my house. It's my relationship with my husband. Sometimes we'll tell each other, like, what, sometimes I'll ask for it, like, I need a 3-breath hug. Or sometimes I'll see him in a state of frustration and I'll ask, can we do a 3-breath hug? And it's not to like manipulate you, it's to just get present. I do it with my kids, and now they come in my office and literally ask for it multiple times a day. Like, Mommy, can we do a 3-breath hug? I'm like, the fact that I have an 11-year-old and I had never done a 3-breath hug because I didn't know about it until the global pandemic. Right. And now it like changes, it just slows it all down.
Yeah.
And it makes us, it like de-stresses us, it pauses the stress, and what does it do? It returns you to your breath and the present moment. And as many ways as you can find to do that, you'll remind yourself that that's all you have, and that's the gift of it. So I just wanted to end with that of the 3-breath hug, of like, we start our days like that, everyone in our house individually. Sometimes we do a family one, which is a little harder, but when you literally feel your lungs and the other person's lungs, even your animals, breathe like that, you're just reminded that the breath is where it's at, you know?
Oh, I love that so much.
I hope that's helpful. You'll have to let me know.
So helpful.
3-breath hug. And you can 3-breath hug yourself if some single gal or guy is like, I have no one to 3-breath hug. Don't use it as a thing to get all down on yourself. Just use it as a mindfulness exercise to just calm the stress, whatever the stress is.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that so much. This has been so amazing.
Awesome.
Wendy, thank you for agreeing to do this for my tribe and my community. I really appreciate this. I love chatting with you. I could talk for another 3 hours about all of this, and I think everyone else could too.
No.
So maybe we do to create the Wendy and Jody show in quarantine, like a group actor therapy show or something. We'll talk about it.
Well, look, I'm just so glad that you were called to put this together. And then, you know, Jody learned as she went and we figured it out as we go. And I think just to wrap it up with like, we're all figuring out as we go. And any of us who look like we have it all figured out, we don't. And you just got to dive in and do it. And I'm so glad it helped people. You know, I think it's just been a way to bring us all together. There's so much to be grateful for in this time that we've all connected in ways that I haven't before. So I'm thrilled to have joined you today. It was awesome. Thanks for having me.
I love it. And I love it for saying that we don't all have it together, you guys, because we don't. Okay. I know that we come on and we're supportive because I know we're both called to do this stuff. But man, I usually meditate 5 days a week. I'll just share this with you when we wrap up. And this morning I was so freaking tired and I slept in. I chose not to meditate. And then I got guilty because I'm like, oh my God, but I'm going on with Wendy who talks about meditation. I can't tell her I didn't meditate this morning. And I had like a mini breakdown. And then I was like, you're fine. Joyful and efficient. I was joyful and efficient.
Yes. And you guys, if in this moment I choose peace is your only meditation for the day, that's okay too. You know, it's all okay. So I love that you're like, thought I was going to somehow know.
I I felt guilty. Like, anyway, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wendy, thank you so much for being here. Everyone go to actorinspiration.com/ease to get that free meditation that Wendy's so graciously offering, and connect with her, join her newsletter. She has so many lovely things to share and offer. So again, thank you so much, Wendy, for being here. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy our Memorial Day weekend. I didn't even realize it was Memorial Day until this morning.
Drive-by parades for kids, and drive-by birthdays where you just wave. You're like,
right. Barbecue over Zoom. I don't know. Figure it out. But
yes.
Enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Thank you so much, Jody. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.